This is the Natural Healing Radio Hour, is what we call it. And today I want to talk about, um, well, first I want to just riff on a video I saw from Claudia Epipatch Arte, Arte, on Substack. Our friend Claudia, just the most beautiful video talking about um, love, talking about moving from love, um, talking about just using these beautiful metaphors for how to affect change, for how to get our voices out there. Um, and she used this beautiful metaphor of like digging a ditch where, if you just dig a little ditch, it's like, maybe you can hear I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. There's like ice cream truck sounds in the background in my neighborhood. it's, it's not an ice cream truck. It's a tamale truck. The tamale truck comes around like every other day. Really delicious tamales and chips and salsa. I purchase them quite often, um, but I won't today. But anyway, if you hear that sound, so Claudia, um, it just uplifts me every time the tamale truck comes by. What a gift. uh, Claudia, so she was talking about digging a ditch where it's like just these small portals, just like this, just like any sharing we do. She was really encouraging sharing. And I'm like, yes, let's just share everything. It's time to share everything. We've been so trained to be siloed and like in my profession too, it's like the healing profession, it's so bastardized, right? Where we're specialized and we have this thing to offer, and it's all secretive, it's behind closed doors doing therapy. Whereas the way to heal is to share everything we know because we're all healing together. We're all healing the same stuff. And this digging ditch metaphor was like creating a little portal from the world of capitalist, commodified, siloed, individualistic, colonialist nonsense that we live under, and creating this little stream um, to a free world where we're sharing everything. And for those who don't know, I had the exact same metaphor, and mine is like a dam and with an enormous river that can be unleashed if we just get one of these I don't know, fake healers, I would call them fake healers and spiritual teachers, the Instagram influencers out there. If we compost one of them, if we dig a little ditch and create a pathway um, to for their waterway, for their attention to go to the collective, to go to the people, to go to places like Substack and where we are building. Um, a free society, a gift economy where everything is just sharing. And the more we do that, the more we share, the more we collaborate, the more we hear truth from each other and liberate ourselves and heal ourselves. We not that we ever needed it, but the old system just becomes irrelevant. And so I wanted to start off with sharing. I'm always going to recommend go to my TikTok. Everybody I follow there is brilliant. Go to my Substack. Everybody I follow is brilliant. And I just want to highlight the folks who've um, been on the Natural Healing Radio Hour. So Claudia Apapatch, Miriam M.S. Luria, incredible functional nutrition. I don't want to say it wrong. Just a wealth of knowledge, herbs, everything. Doc Smith, who will be on tomorrow at 4 p.m. The Tuesday time is 4 p.m. Pacific for the hour. And he's the one getting me to do all this head loading and really feeling like my back is stronger, my posture is better, my neck is more elongated, my hip is moving back into place. I'm telling you, he's on to gold there. Um, and then this Thursday, I'm going to have Candice DeMeza on, who I've mentioned before. She has a Substack, Candice with an ICE, D''Meza. I'll write these in the descriptions of the video. Thanks for the hearts. And Candice, oof, I'm just going to cry thinking about Candice. She does decolonization, re-indigenizing of ourselves, liberating, alchemizing. She's just a brilliant magician. And I'm going to be taking her course. Um, oh gosh, it's called The Candle, the Machete, and the Nomo. starting June 25th, I believe. It's 3 Wednesdays and 3 Saturdays. If you want to join me with Candace, she is a liberator extraordinaire, and she will be here this Thursday. So we have Doc Smith tomorrow, Candace on Thursday. I'm going to be inviting Nergiz, Nergiz, who's talking big talk about matriarchy. I fucking love it, and see if she'll come on. Other people I've been really just immersed in and loving is Justin Scott, Cypher J on Substack, also on um, TikTok. He's got a ton of stuff on TikTok. Um, More new to Substack, but he's gaining ground quickly. And just beautiful teachings about men and men's liberation, about Black liberation, um, about the effects of colonization. Just young, brilliant, like just delivers truth. All these people do. Same on TikTok, Ning the Vanguard and Jorge the Vanguard, talking about white supremacy and um, decolonization. And they are fierce and right. And I would just go and expose yourself. It's all good. And I say all this, and I want to share all these people, and I want us to keep sharing. And like Claudia said, like restacking, sharing, commenting. That's working with my stuff. It's getting out there, right? I've been my thing about there not being disorders in people, but it's in the system. I don't know, that's been restacked 430 times or something, and that is what's gaining the momentum, getting the eyes on it, right? And I've had countless messages that this was so helpful. I've had DMs, I've had comments, and so we all have a piece to share in this collective healing, this collective liberation that we are in. We are we are there. We are in it. So keep sharing, keep digging these waterways, and I'm getting through. um, I'm getting through, and if you are a healer type or a liberator, and you want to come on the radio hour, it's Monday through Thursday. Let me know, DM me, or if you know somebody, refer them to me, and I will reach out. Who do you think would just be great? Because we want to cross pollinate, And if you want to come on for a session, so I had several sessions. Randolph will tell you which chapters they are with Claudia, with Miriam, with Lucy, with Randolph, that are live in-person sessions because we're healing the same stuff. And we're going to do that again today. Today, I'm going to talk about what is our fear. Let's just put them all out there. And we're going to go through them. And I'm going to help wake you up and heal through the body and or refer you to folks who like I've been listing, who will help support. Um, but uh, but if you want to come on and do an individualized session where we dig in and get to the bottom of each of these fears, it's a public service and free, and you can just DM me. Other supports we have coming are the People's Trust, which you can see some of the brainstorming sessions we've had. Still working on it. Still working on doing the website and the Substack at the same time. The folks working on this we're work for a living, and it's we've got other stuff that's been prioritized. So it's coming though. And men's group every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Randolph Prox is the guy to reach out to. And we have individual healers in one-on-one healers in Basvi Bardwaj and Al Hasty, both of which are on my website, megrokel.com. You can schedule with them. So there's all kinds of ways to heal here. And we just share it all. We just share it all. And I'm going to share some of the conversation Vasvi and I had this weekend. I get to have conversations with her most days, and it's just what an absolute treat. But I wanted to give you an update on my my waterways of the rich white spiritual healer types, the men on Instagram that I'm constantly harassing. I want to say, because I know that I have spies over here. Like, I'm learning, like an old academic colleague reached out to me, and turns out he's been watching my stuff. But like, I know people are watching. But they're not saying anything. They're hiding in the distance. And I want them to know I want all y'all who I've named to know that I'm Rocky. Like, I'm Rocky Balboa. Like, you can knock me down. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go all the way to liberation. You're not going to win. I just want you to know. Just so you might fold your cards sooner than later. You might just forfeit. I think you should. Um, and another one that I've knocked down who uh, who blocked me on Instagram. And P.S. I was restricted on Instagram for 3 days. Supposedly it was 3 days. It's now been 5 days, and I'm not getting the restriction, so I can't comment on Instagram. I can't go harass these people anymore, which is my sport. But I can seem to comment on their stories. So I commented on Robert Edward Grant's story. I just put the word Snidely Whiplash because he looks like Snidely Whiplash. And because dear Robert has such a big ego, he thought I was flirting with him, I think. And so he messaged me and he sent me a picture of Snidely Whiplash and he said, ha ha, laughing emoji, quite a resemblance. And I said, yes, inside and out. And then he said, um, what you judge is what you are, something like that, some 10-cent phrase. And I wrote back a long thing about, yes, I am absolutely in judgment with you of not speaking up against the Holocaust in Palestine and many other things. And that, I invited him to healing. I said, the people are waking up. It is time. It is judgment day. And I do stand in judgment of you. And I see, what that you're in need of healing and I'm available to heal. And then he proceeded to block me. So every time I get blocked, I think of it as a win. It's like I got through, right? If you think of it as now, I'm not a fighter. I'm fighting with love. I, I want their healing. I want their collaboration. I want to compost their resources and their attention because they're perpetuating the the insane empire system that we live under. So, but I'm inviting them to heal. I'm inviting them to join us. Um, and but if it is a bit of a fight insofar as like it's a it's like I keep making moves. Let's say it's not a hit, it's a move, and I if I didn't get to them, they wouldn't block me, right? If I didn't land a punch, they wouldn't block me, um, and as my double black belt friend Yoshi always says, fighting is in nature, fighting is natural. And so it's a fight from love. I'm doing it from love. Their I want their freedom. I want their healing. And they're holding up the line. They're holding up the line for everybody. They're hoarding resources and perpetuating the system. So I have no problem throwing a punch. And I just want to, I want to, I want them to know I'm getting to them. And I want them to know I won't stop and we won't stop. We won't stop rising as free people and we won't stop, um, you know, lovingly taking down those who are perpetuating the system. So, um, so Robert's was the next one. And then I'm going to name Doc Malik. Doc, I love you. I appreciate your work. And you invited me on your podcast before, many months ago, or we were going to, and then it dropped off. And it seems like you're teaching healing and workshops and things like that. You're still doing a lot of whistleblowing, which is great, but it's time to build stuff. It's time to heal. And it's time for women to lead, and it's time for the real healers. Like I've been doing this, for almost 30 years, 17 years as a licensed psychologist, many years doing awakening work and deep embodied healing work. So after having David Icke on, I'm your next I'm the next natural step here. So I'm gonna ask you to reach out to me. I'm gonna ask you to have me on. I've messaged you, but I'm not gonna let y'all get away with pretending you're the lead healers here. You're not. I appreciate what you've done. You've helped knock the system down. Now we need to build a new one. And I'm asking you to have me on. All right. Nobody, nobody's going to get to hide anymore. Um, okay. So, and speaking to reaching, messaging Robert and now calling out Doc. Malik, um, what are we all afraid of? Why isn't Robert reaching out to me? um, we're all afraid of losing our identity. We're all afraid of abandonment. We think that our identity is who we are, right? So I'm a doctor who knows stuff. And like I almost didn't join Candace's journey here because I was like, oh, I'm probably missing a lot. And you know, that's like it's like a little embarrassing. And she knows, she knows more. She has all this wisdom. Of course I'm missing a lot. Of course I am. We all are. And each other are the missing pieces. So that was a little bit of fear of abandonment, fear of not being good enough, fear of being unworthy, dumb, missing something, perpetuating white supremacy. These little pieces in me held off on doing what I want to do, which is learning more and unraveling more and healing more and collaborating with my sisters and brothers from all walks of life. That's what we're doing. That's literally all I want to do. So I caught that in my system, right? And of course, that's why Robert Edward Grant or Peter Crone or Zach Bush or whoever won't reach out to me, won't or are blocking me instead of reaching out, is because they have to lose their identity. They have to be the student, not the teacher. They have to be the one who has actually done harm instead of is helping. And it's actually true. They are perpetuating harm in holding up the system and in not speaking out against the Holocaust and in playing the white male savior. That's actually true. Now, the best news is when we sacrifice our identity, that's when we have real freedom. Then we can just be. And the identity was there. It's just it's fear. It's fear of from mom and dad and all authorities, right? If I'm not this thing, right, I won't be accepted in the family, won't be accepted in society. And when you come from rich white man society, like the patriarchal colonizer bloodlines that are so, so old, um, all you are is a you're just an object. You're just an object. Been treated like an object, and you are all you are doing is keeping this or perpetuating this thing. That's what your job is. And that's all your value. Your value is in perpetuating empire. And so it's a lot to lose seemingly, but it's everything to gain. And Vasvi and I were talking about so it's either we're holding on to the identity of um of an ego, right? Of I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm wise, I'm the leader, I'm better than, I won the game, whatever. Or the martyr, the sufferer. So Vasvi caught that it was like she h- was l- she was leaving the story that she's depressed. Like depression, the story of depression was pulling her attention. And what that is an identity. It's like, I'm depressed, then I'll get attention. Then I'll, like, by being depressed, I have a mental issue, I have a real problem, and then I can just keep, um, like, that's how I'll get attention. But what's really going on is it's a distraction, right? The story of I'm depressed or I've got problems is a distraction from the wound. So it's just like a little kid going, "Don't touch it, don't touch it. I'm gonna hurt, it's gonna bleed out together, I'm gonna die," and then going like and then getting involved in this story of like, "Oh, yeah, we don't wanna touch it," like, "Yep, you're really hurt. Um, okay, let's let's leave it be, and we'll just distract you for a while." Right? It's all distraction. Any of this chatterbox thought, there's 2 different kinds of thought. There's the ones that it's just like a narrator on your life. We know that. That's the distractor. Those are the spells. That's keeping you from being actually in the heart where the wound is, right? So Vasvi said to me, she said, um, "Isn't aren't the thoughts part of the wound?" And my answer is the messages, the spell, the belief, right? Not good enough um, or less than, or there's something wrong with me. That those words, what we heard at some point, which we believe all of them automatically, so that we're just swarming with beliefs about separation, about what good and bad is, right and wrong, and everything, and that hits. That's a wound. So it's the thing that causes the wound, but it's not the thing that heals it. Meaning, processing a story of depression or of anything or anxiety or finding meaning around it. It's like it's all distraction, right? So somebody stabs you and it's like, well, they stabbed me. And what does that mean? And why did they stab me? And somebody's going to stab me again. And I'm the kind of person who gets stabbed all the time. Story, 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 story. And meanwhile, you're bleeding. Meanwhile, we actually need to come in there and attend to it. So, um, so all of these stories are a distraction from healing, from returning to wholeness, and from letting life run this thing. Right? So all these Instagram influencers are running their life. They have an identity and they are promoting that identity in every single post, right? It's just them as some savior, some, healer. And that's just cranked out constantly. Um because and it has to be cranked out constantly because it isn't real. Because there's, it's like and when something's real, we don't really need to talk about it. Um, it just it just is. So, this it's like watching pure pain, pure wounding, and pure insanity. Do a big performance. It's just like a performance of good girl, a performance of good boy, a performance of smart guy, a performance for mom and dad. And meanwhile, we're over here bleeding out. And so all we want to compost all that attention that we give individually to our story, to ourselves, and then compost the attention of everyone in terms of the system away from those who would um, individually guide everyone, right? Versus no, we're all in this together. We're all healing this together. So we attend to the wound. We attend to the wound. So the thoughts are part of the wound insofar as they cause it, but we're not, the person that stabbed us or the knife, we're not engaging with the knife. The knife is over there. We don't need it anymore. It's done its duty, and now we're just going to attend to the wounds. So what I want to do today is ask you, what is this fear? What is this thing? Because that's going to be your distraction. It's going to be there's going to be an identity there. There's going to be a whole storyline that you get pulled into out of avoidance of pain. And we talked last time or whenever we did about avoidance in general. It's avoiding the void. It's avoiding what happens when there isn't a separate self-identity running the show. Not that it ever was running the show. It was always just a child on a rail car pretending it was running it, right? So we were never running the show. It was always being run by life, by God, by goddess, whatever you want to call natural law, life. And in waking up from our thoughts, healing through the pain, and releasing into the void of what's here, and Vaspi's been discovering there's a blackness to it. There's the womb of creation to it. There's a light and there's also dark, but there's one womb that as those who know me have heard me say a million times. What happens is everything moves toward fulfillment. Fulfillment for you as an individual, and fulfillment for the group, fulfillment for all. And how what your voice is fits in with my voice and the chorus of all the other voices that come forward when we're not distracted by the spells, by our identities. So we give up our identity of whatever whatever we thought was giving us attention, and we actually attend. We as awareness attend to reality, attend to the body. This whole thing breaks apart, and our real self, our real liberated being, uh, emerges, and it's self driven by God, driven by life, driven driven by the river, and not uh, pretend driven from a separate self that isn't located in here. We've never found that homunculus. All of psychology is built on the homunculus theory that there is some little being. It's literally like a little person inside the somewhere in the frontal cortex with a little lever. It doesn't exist. How does hair grow? How do cells replenish? Life does it. Life does it. Life does it. So life will do this whole thing, and that's the different kind of thought. When we're not in the spell thoughts of identity, of separation, of fear, then the one mind's thoughts, which will be unique to you and fit in perfectly with every other every other catalyst. We just become catalysts. We become open channels for the one mind, the one body that we are all connected to, instead of programmed NPCs cranking out matrix fears. So there's my spiel again. I'm going to say it in lots of different ways, but what I want to do today is just let's pop some bubbles. Your fear is our fear. Your pain is our pain. Your healing is our healing. It's like we're one body, right? And it's all energy. And so to go back to the wound metaphor, right? It's good for my heart and my gut if I heal a wound, a stab wound in my arm, right? The So my healing is your healing. We're all healing this one body and this one mind. And healing just means returning to wholeness, right? It's basically just opening. It's an opening process from the inside out. Um, okay. There's my top of the hour riff. Um, and let me see mine too. Hi everyone, Laura from Scotland. Hey, Laura from Scotland. Where are you in Scotland? I've been to Scotland, the St. Andrews area and Edinburgh. I did a little driving around. I loved it so much. I have a 7-day weekend every week just driving around listening to and chatting with folks, and they pay me for it. Fantastic. Fantastic. Claudia's video is such a beautiful 35-minute walk with her through the woods and waterfalls. I know, wasn't it? Totally. Everybody check that out. Apapach. Hi, Barry, Ashley. Oh, my Nergis. Beautiful look and daily Substack on matriarchy. I know, isn't it beautiful? Welcome, everybody. It's froze for me, yet my internet connection indicates strong signal. Oh, did it froze? It worked to leave and come back. Okay, great. Welcome. Downside, I cannot scroll. Hi, Beck. Uh, Hallelujah. Blessed are the flexible and the determined, for we won't stay down or get bent out of shape. They most certainly try to make our lives more difficult. It seems like the IT challenges and scams are increasing. Yeah, I know. I know but it makes it so obvious. It's like, I'm doing something right if I'm getting, blocked and restricted on Instagram. It's like, to me, I'm like, and I wrote on my Instagram, like I don't follow anybody on Instagram. I just put my stuff there. But I wrote in my bio, I said, what did I say? Something like I said Meta is zombie land. Get out. um, because it's just perpetuating matrix. It's like, and then anybody who goes outside of it, it's just, um, but there's a leak, like the ditch has been dug, and it's TikTok and Substack in terms of social media. And so it's too late. Like everybody's flooding out. The rats are fleeing the ship, that's going down. Um, it is the Titanic over there. It's zombie land. It's a zombie pockets. It's Titanic. Whatever metaphor you want, it is sinking, and it is sinking fast. And they're doing everything, and that's the phrase is extinction burst, right? Right before extinction, or before, if you're a drowning person, you're going to flail about and do everything you possibly can. But it's done. It's like, it's done. Nobody with any following on Instagram is saying literally anything. I'm like, nobody is saying anything wise at all. Like, I can't find one popular wise person on Instagram. And I'm not on Facebook. They're just not there. They're all perpetuating half truths and old ideas that are like, I'm like, y'all are 10 to 20 years behind. Um, it's like, catch up already. So it's got to be Substack for now. Um, anyway, yes, it's the scams are increasing, but we know we're doing something right. Hi, Oraculum. We risk loss of free will through incoherence, willful ignorance of the incoherent. Yeah. One-on-one healing chats on. Okay, thank you, Randolph. Chapters 4, 8, 9, 13, 15, 18, 23, 28, 34, and 39 with Vasti, Claudia, Miriam, Lucy, Al, and Randolph. Each chapter clearly listed on your Substack posts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dave, hi. Jim, welcome, everybody. Thanks for the challenging post on the chat thread. Yeah, totally. Some challenging stuff there. It's great. Hello, beautiful beings. I love that similar of the stabbed person worrying and in the meantime bleeding. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And it's all distraction, And oh my God, I mean, all of this is why I left psychology, right? Like pretty much all of therapy is avoidance of the pain, is just story after story after story of a self that doesn't even exist, which doesn't make I'm answering a lot of questions about this, but like I'm depressed. It's like, yes, and let's not give that story. What are we talking about? Depression. There's a story and then there is a pain. So let's see through the story. Let's see that the story isn't real and let's go attend to the pain, to the wound. Um, versus the DSM, right? The diagnostic manual reifies the idea of depression. When I had a back and forth with somebody who was talking about, but it's helpful to have a label. And it's like, maybe temporarily, yes, it's validating. It's like, this is real. You're going through something real because the thoughts are real, but it doesn't make them true. And the pain is real, but it doesn't make it meaningful. It doesn't mean anything about you, right? It doesn't mean you are forsaken. It doesn't mean you are a perpetual victim, like or that you have trauma that you have to, I mean, it's not to say that trauma isn't real. Of course it is. And let's get to the actual thing. Let's get to the actual body. Let's get to ground zero and stop making meaning about it and adding story to it. The story is where the suffering is. We've got pain, and then we've got suffering. And what we have is a whole world of suffering and all this work. You know, the thing that might drive me the most crazy about all these rich white spiritual people is the amount of it's like manufactured effort, right? Where they do their plant ceremonies and their breathing exercises and their meditation. It's like suffering is they really still believe it's the Christian Abrahamic religion bullshit that suffering gets them closer to God, that which is what enslavers tell you, right? So this is not this is not a liberation process. You don't get liberated through suffering. You get liberated through liberation, through freeing yourself, through showing up in the moment and not pursuing this ghost that doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist. So what is it to be storyless? What is it to come fully into the body, into the moment? It's the moment it's now that you're going to heal. It's now that you're going to be liberated. It's now that you're going to be fulfilled. It's now that you're going to discover that your fears aren't real, right? Because you're going to have stepped away from the fear and met the moment and looked, like I sometimes say, it's like, okay, there's a monster under the bed. Look under the bed. look, look, get really close. Go right at it. Where did it go? Where did it go? It was a mirage. Every single fear is a mirage. And so we want to look at them. We want to look at them one at a time. So we'll talk about that. Hello, everyone from New Caledonia. Amazing. Hi, Patrick. Awesome. Oh, I love this. Exactly. They are weaving the tangled web. Yeah. Thank you, Megan. What a truthful, clear, and beautiful explanation. Okay, good. Thank you, Manuel. Good to see you. Good to see so many of you friends. How come I can't see you? I don't know. Can other people still see me? Maybe log off and back on. Hi, Dan. You are absolutely correct. Okay, good. Thanks, Ashley. Okay, cool. Um, let's let's um let's do this. Every fear is a mirage. I like that. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. So let's talk fear. Let's talk fear. Everybody's everybody's got fear. Um, and my way is to go right at what's your biggest fear? What do you, like, never wanna have happen? What's the last thing you want to occur? Like, "Oh, no, no, if this happened," right? Mine used to be, um, that I was ignorant, that I was dumb, because my mother was a school teacher and started, like, you know, um, I think I've just shared this, she had this whole, it was very 70s, it was very, like, um, she had this thing where she would knock me down, like, I would try to crawl and walk, and she would knock me down and get me to speak first, um, because it's supposedly better for brain development. I'm not so sure about that, um, but I learned, I was, like, speaking in full sentences in, like, 9 months old or something, and, um, and then it was just always about, like, schooling and doing well in school. I went to public schools, but it was like, you know, that's the most important thing. So, um, you know, better than a lot of things to have pressure on, but it would end up being a fear, right? It's like, well, then I'm not worthy if I don't know something, or I'm not worthy if I'm not top of the class, or, not even really that. It was like, yeah, just the idea of being smart, right? And who knows what that is? I mean, I think it's such a bullshit idea. Everybody's a genius. Everybody is a perfect portal for life and has part of the one mind. We just are so restricted and conditioned that our channels and our brilliance isn't able to be unleashed. But anyway, that was the thing I was most afraid of, and so it ran me into all kinds of walls. And it was also like fundamentally a belief in I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, and so I fell for narcissists who, I thought knew more and were sort of leading the way, and right, like, well, I don't really know, I'm not really that smart. And this whole sort of measuring system, right, of like what I think smart is, and of course that's going to be white men because that's the conditioning. And my father, who you know was very ignorant about a lot of things, but I would defer to him. Um, all of this dynamic, right, from my conditioning. So my healing is in seeing through even the story of unworthiness or smart, or all of those words are just, they're all spells, they're all nonsense. Let's stop measuring each other against each other. Let's just stop. How about that? So letting go of that, and then meeting the broken-hearted girl who was compared to by her parents, or measured or ranked, or and by her schooling, right? That she needs a big internal hug. She needs to be wrapped in the arms of awareness, which we can do too. But each of us has got that thing, right? What is, um, what are you running from? What are you afraid? What are you performing for to make sure fill in the blank doesn't happen? There is one real fear, not a mirage. I am dreaming and I write about it even now. Fear of change is real. Um, okay, fear of change is real. I get it. I get it. Yes, I could go with that. Here's my here's my response. Um, change is constant. That's all there is change. Now, I like to show folks that awareness, pure awareness, what's looking at me, the oneness that holds everything, is also incredibly stable. It doesn't move. It is always there. You, as pure awareness, are always here. You are the steady container, the vast, vast, endless container that all this change occurs in. So when you take your seat as pure oneness awareness, it's like, it's not distanced like this, but it would be like watching, um, a change in a movie, right? The pixels keep changing, or you're inside a video game and it keeps changing, but you're in the seat, right? You remain while all this changes. And if we when we were born, right, it was constant change. We were learning to crawl or walk or speak or eat new food, right? But there wasn't a story about that change. So it's the story about the change that is the fear. Um, and if we wanna call how do I wanna say? I'm talking to people lately about how, let's say a baby let's say a baby is learning to walk and falls, and they're shocked by that fall. That could look like fear, but I would say it's just shock. It's just the surprise, which is a very base emotion, a surprise of something new, something kind of new and shocking to the body. But that shock, just like in any other animal without a story yet, would move through the baby's body, and then they get back up. If they have parents that aren't gonna perpetuate a story, right? Um, I gave that example of, like, the three-year-olds where this little kid, the boy kid's head got banged, and he was, like, shocked, right? He's shocked, and then the little girl who opened the door on him and banged him, she just grabbed his head and kissed him. And so he was, like, shocked, and then he started to go into a story, right? He's like, and then she kissed him, and then he was fine. So the shock moved through him, and he didn't have a story about the pain, and the pain had already gone, right? Like, it doesn't maybe had a bump or something, but it wasn't it wasn't this big pain. So I hear you, and I'm always gonna aim for, like, but if there isn't a story, then change just moves through and moves through and moves through. Um, and having gone through I mean, I've like everything's changed in my last several years, but especially in the last year and a half, like everything. Um, and and practicing showing up in my life with a lot of other crazy things happening right before that. Um, I like the change just moved through me. It was like, okay, I'm moving. Okay, all my friends betrayed me. Okay, my dog died. Okay, I don't talk to my father anymore. He just threw me under the bus. Okay, 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 okay. And then what it's done is make it so like, I, you know, try me, try me. I'm ready. I'm ready. So I agree that it is the fundamental fear in a way, and we can return to a very, let's say, innocent state, an innocent, non-storied place where change is just allowed to move through, let's say. Um, and then, wow, does it happen fast? The more I release, the more you could say manifestation or gifts, just gifts coming into my life and everyone around me too. Um, the fear of death isn't a mirage, is it? Ah, yes, it is. It is. It is. But this is the big one. This is the big one. Let's talk the big one. So, um, so, so, I'm gonna assume you are talking about death of the body, right? Death of this body, and that is um that's everybody's fear. Abandonment or death of the body. Both are kind of the same thing. It's the idea that you're going to be lost, that you're going to be split, that you won't exist. But every night, this is kind of how I'd point out that fear of death isn't real. The Every night we go to sleep and we get into deep sleep, we're basically dead. Like our body is barely, the frequency is very quiet, let's say. And um and we don't have any story, right? It's deep dreamless sleep, and it's like death. It's very much like death. In terms of the body, right? But awareness, so the consciousness that exists in the body and keeps it alive is and that might and so this body might be here, let's say it's in dream sleep, it's dreaming, and the consciousness is in another realm. It's in a story that you're a tiger on a savanna, that so the awareness remains whether there's a dream or dreamless, or whether you're awake and dreaming the dream you dream the most, which is this body's life. um, but the awareness remains. And so, and like I was saying before, if you are most fundamentally this pure awareness that sees everything, that feels everything, that is the background consciousness of it all, that is inside of me and inside of you and inside of all the plants and animals and everything. It's what what's dreaming. So what's dreaming is always there. It remains. What is dreamed, including this body, comes and goes. So it's just we have this one dream for a while, and it and then we identify with it. Right? So when I was talking about identity, it's like identity as a good person or identity. It's also just identity as a body. So that's not it's only one side of who you are. It's your avatar. But when your character in a video game dies, you don't die. And when you are in deep dreamless sleep, you don't die. And when this body and this story is offline and you're the tiger in the savannah, you don't die. So the way to see through the fear of death is to see you don't die. and and you can also see that in every moment. So what remains as this thought comes and goes, as this moment comes and goes, as the cells of my pancreas are replenished, by the millions every moment, that there's something that remains. And it's the quiet, still, steady, immovable awareness that's looking at me. So I, as awareness, don't have any fear of death. This body will go. I mean, there may be some scrambling at the end, like let's say I died in some dramatic way. My body would do its thing to stay alive, as it does. It drinks water when it's thirsty, and it does all of its things. But I will know that this is not the end. It is just a transformation, as all of it is. And we get to dream in this 3D realm. It's a I- it's a it's a video game. It's a I don't really love the like simulation or hologram, those, because it's too cold, it's too robotic. It's too alive and too real and too visceral and too form-based, in my view, to um for that to describe what it is. But um when you see and feel through your body, you can see and feel it's made of space. It's a very visceral experience, and you can see and feel that you don't end in your body, which we could do an exploration. A lot of my meditations or explorations, whatever you're going to call them, there's a ton out there, and they all do this. They're all going to show you, so you as awareness see and feel through the where you think you begin and end, which is this body, because you identified as it. So once you see and feel through that, it's like, oh, what would die? You know, it comes and goes, but and it's not like you don't love, and you could even say are attached to this avatar. Of course, as I say, you are your favorite. You as oneness was like, I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with this time and date and this person with these challenges and this. It's like, here, I'm going to set up my avatar, and you're your total favorite. So it's not like you don't have total love for being this person. Um, but as Byron Katie likes to say, everybody dies right on time. And that's me saying that, being as being loud every day about the horrors of this world, and that this is all unnecessary. And um, there is a bigger story, let's say, going on here in mass awakening. Um, and who's to say that child in Gaza who's being starved to death, and breaks all of our hearts, isn't also helping us wake up, and didn't choose that, and is living that to experience what that is and to be a catalyst for the rest of us to wake up and wake up our hearts. So, um, so yeah. So tell me how that resonates. So, and that helps me with looking at the horrors and seeing people dying. My heart breaks every time, and I know they're okay. I know that it's actually a liberation and that they each of their lives is helping to save the rest of ours. Sometimes. Fear of never meeting a suitable love partner, someone doing this work. Okay, great. We'll do that one next. The I am more afraid of is to be rejected in different ways when I start to care about someone deeply. So I feel like I've been avoiding getting closer to people, especially in romantic relationships. It is so weird because I realize I act like it does not. You totally get you. Okay, great. Well, we'll talk about that. Both of those. Um, Fear of dying in a nursing home with the lousy diet and pill pushers. Cool. Matters to me, and I have it all together, but the truth is that I am running away from life when I get close to someone. I get it. It feels really scary and painful. Totally. Yeah, thank you for is this okay if this is complicated to accept? Is this okay if this is complicated to accept? The death part? Um, Absolutely, it's all okay. Um, but tell me a little bit more about what you mean by complicated to accept. Because it's in a way, it's not an accept you don't have to accept well, I guess accept isn't a bad word. It's like, I just want you to realize it with real eyes, to see for yourself that you are this immortal awareness and death is happening all the time. D every moment, dead, reborn, you know? Um, and that in like, I had a friend whose mother knew she was dying. She was like she didn't have any health problems. She was, like, 90 something, maybe 80 something, and she was like, "I'm ready to die. I'm gonna die this weekend." And she did. She invited all of her children, and she said, "Come this weekend because 'cause I'm gonna die." And, and she just did. She, like, lit within hours of when she said she was like, "I think it's gonna be, like, Saturday afternoon, bring the kids." And then she laid back and she died. And she was just ready to go, right? It's like there was just such an awareness of, like, this body's going, and I'm good. We're good. It's like saying goodbye at a party, it's like, "It's time to go. I'm gonna go," you know? Or you're done playing that video game. It's like, "Yeah, I've seen enough. I'm good." So, so, uh, let me know if that helps. This is really interesting. Thanks so much. I'm happy to be here and listening to you. Okay, good, 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 good. Illusion of fear, that's so clear and liberating. Okay, good. Great. Great. Okay, cool. Um, yeah, there's a lot more, and I know I've talked about it before, but yeah, that basically sums it up, and and then any of my meditations are going to help you. They're going to help you feel the reality of this steady oneness and meet meet the meet the the vibrancy and the vastness and the oneness that you are, so that the identity here um is is loosened and just eventually dissolves. um Vastu is really in this dissolving fit. It's just like everything's just dissolving, 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 and it's like, and so the beliefs and the identities will sort of cling onto themselves. Like, I need something. I got to do something. That's what we were saying last night. It's like there's a hallucinated separate self that thinks it's running life, and it's like, I got to do something, and it it um it goes looking for something to do to keep itself safe, to keep itself alive. It doesn't want to die. But it was always a mirage. The identity itself is a mirage, not to mention all the fears. And so, in just seeing through that, just seeing like, oh, none of this is real. And what's here? Well, what's here is this never-ending change, and um, and I'm like a portal for energy, right? And in the dissolution process, um, it's at least where Vospi was, it was like a lot of just natural rest and a letting. It was almost just watching all these thoughts come through and feeling through the pain and not engaging with the story, and just almost like a flush, almost just like a flush going through. And then it's like, we're okay. We're okay. All of the fears, all of the storylines, all of the identities came to play. They came to try to get my attention. And it's okay if you give them attention for a while, whatever. But but you don't, like, they come and they go and they come and they go and they come and they go. And at some point you've become so tired of fearing death that you look right at it, of fearing this identity not being real, that you are willing to be that thing, right? I'm willing to be ignorant. I'm willing to be unlovable. I'm willing to be unlovable to them to actually love myself. I'm willing to be stupid in their eyes to actually honor what I know to be true, right? So we're switching our awareness back to the moment, to the body, to what actually is, and not our story of it. That's the shift. And that's really the shift on this larger scale of the, I don't know, the empire people shifting their focus to the real ones, to the ones who are, building from reality and not from this ego-driven story where of zero-sum game that we everybody loses in. Okay, so um, we'll do the fear of not finding a partner or getting close, and we'll do fear of dying in a nursing home with the lousy diet. Um, and let me just see if there's any other ones. Discussion on death. Uh, welcome everybody. Our work resonates so much. Oh, good, Carol. Frozen. Can't get your shit together. Joking. I'm confused as fuck. You can go back. His never ending changes the story. Oh, okay. Never ending changes the story. Yeah, yeah. I could go with that. We could talk about that. It's like, I get caught in words too. It's like, it's both steady and changing. It's both, like we were saying to Bosfi, it's like total blackness and void and light, yin yang, masculine, feminine, solid and spacious. Um, but I'm what I'm hearing from your start is like your own exploration is helping you, um, and that you're finding something about fear of change, maybe for the collective, that's helpful. Um, and I'd love to hear more about it. I'm just riffing on my own, from my own seat here. Okay, so let's do fear of getting the fear of getting close in a relationship. So say more about what's the worst that would happen there, right? That what happens? They abandon you. They break your heart, and then someone was asking too, what about if I don't find anybody? Right. So is that fear of being alone, what you would call alone? Fear of, dying of a broken heart? Like what's the worst about that? Just keep rolling out the tape. Go to the end. Um, and then let's do it too for the nursing home thing, right? There's a lot of people's fear. It's like you're there in the nursing home. And what we're, to skip to the end here, what we're doing is we're going to meet that thing head on. We're just going to meet it fully and not engage in the story about it, but engage in the actual, like, visceral experience. So you're in the nursing home, and there's the shitty food, and, you know, and then what? And then what? And it's only going to be what the meaning you put on it, right? that this is pathetic or this is a problem or this is means something about me, when it could be that you find out, oh my gosh, I finally get to eat shitty food, or I used all my money to order in pizza every day from the local pizza place, and I'm loving getting to know the nurses who are so sweet. I don't know. It's like it's like when Randolph and I did this inquiry, you know, mm, Randolph, you were worried about, forgive me if I'm not saying it right, but um, it's like being homeless on the street, right? The fear we all have. And then it was like, oh, wait a minute, I hitchhiked in the 80s and or whatever, and it was really fun. And there were these raspberry milkshakes, and I did just fine. In fact, I really enjoyed the adventure. You know, um, it was, if we look fear head on, you're going to find it's so not what you think. In fact, it might even be the very thing you're wanting. It's the very thing that is enlivening, right? Because it was deadening, having a fear that you position yourself to make sure it doesn't happen. It deadens you. Once you see through it, it's like, oh my god, I would be free. Is actually it, right? I would be free if like the worst happened. So, and this happened to me in this last year, right? The worst happened. Like I was fundamentally betrayed. I my all my means of communication were taken from me. I had to escape my own house. It was really, really dramatic, as bad as it could have been. Lost my home, lost my friends, lost everything. Best thing that ever happened to me. And I remember being in it, living in a hotel for 3 weeks with my dog, recalibrating like my life. But it was like, oh, I'm free. I'm free because the only thing that was keeping me in this situation with these friends was a story of not good enough, a story of not enough, a story of fear of like what would happen if I went out on my own. Right. So it was liberation. And I had healed enough to just stay with it, which isn't to say I didn't have, emotional breakdowns or whatever, but I just knew to keep letting it move through me. And and I know God is good. I know she's setting me up for fulfillment every time, and she's setting you up for fulfillment every time. That's all she ever does. So she will take away that which is not in alignment, sometimes brutally, in order for you to move more toward fulfillment. So I knew that intuitively. I just hadn't seen through these limiting beliefs that were keeping me locked in, right? So then the worst happens. The thing I feared the most, um, liberation, only liberation, death, liberation, betrayal, liberation, abandonment, liberation, you know, because what is meant for you and what is supportive to you won't leave you. It just will stay. So fulfillment is natural law. It's what's going on. So our fear, if you look through it, if you look right at it, you're actually going to see fulfillment on the other side. See if you can see that. Don't mind being single and have been in long-term relationships, but I've never experienced being in a healthy love ship. Yeah, most of us have not, by the way. Like 98% of us, I would say. Um, it's mostly compromise relationships. And compromise is not love. Compromise is compromise. Um, but we're all we're all feeling and seeing through that which would have us compromise in life, in or out of a relationship. And only then, only then will someone that is only complementary arise. It doesn't mean we can't heal together, but it's really meaning we are healing together. But like, let's say a couple, it's possible. It's possible, um, for both people to heal and like inside that relationship find no compromise within themselves and then rediscover one another. That's absolutely possible. And it's happening. I've seen couples doing this. And if you're single, find your own total fulfillment and bliss, and then like attracts like. Like attracts like. But we have been it's like it's an ongoing thing to unpack the profound amount of compromise, especially in romantic relationships that is proposed, and especially for women. So, what is it to just fall in complete love with yourself, with total abandonment? You just are loving yourself, treating yourself as the best lover, the best spouse, the best friend, the most attentive healer, the most honoring, you know, um, being. You're just going to honor you so completely and see what happens. See what happens. Hi, Tyra and Alchemy of Motherhood. Good to see you. Tell me how the other stuff resonated for your fears, books. And Manuel, what is the let's just dive into that thing of like to be close, what what might they see, right? I mean, and this is it. This is really it, right? Where this is where we're talking about getting rid of it's like no identity, right? You don't have any mask anymore. And then what does fear say about that? Right? It's gonna be something from your childhood. It's gonna be something from society, right? It's not safe. I'll get rejected. It's not good enough to just be, right? Because we were molded as children. It was like we wanted to just go play outside and explore what we want to explore, and we're interested in what we want to be interested in. And then it's like, here's school, and you got to be interested in this. Here's what you have to eat for dinner, and it's not what you want. Here, you got to help your sister, but you don't really want to do that. You want to go play outside. Here, right? Constant compromise, constant conditioning to just shut ourselves down. Each one of those, it's like a little dagger wound, and we are compromised. We aren't free. We run the program, and then it's like, okay, I'm this, this, and this. I'm good. I'm maybe making money, I'm this, I'm that, and then I present that to date someone, right? And then they are put together and put their mask together, and then you have 2 masks, holding hands, and neither person can be satisfied because it's a storyline. You're just like you're kissing in a movie, not in reality in the body. So what is it to drop all the masks, all the identities, be willing to be raw and real and open-hearted and let life lead and let it be easy and let it be honest and watch again how like attracts like. But it's the fear we all have, the fear of abandonment, and and that is what has us abandoning ourselves, right? So I can't be real, I can't get close because that I'm unlovable underneath. No, 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 no. Everyone is inherently lovable, and it is actually you loving you, right? You when you were a baby, you just loved you. You, as pure awareness, were just loving you and honoring you all day long. And then compromise comes in. But if you aren't believing those thoughts and you're willing to come into the body, you just are left with honoring you. Whatever you want, darling, whatever this one wants. You like her, you want to talk with her, you are interested, and your voice is shaky and the fear is still there, but you want to ask her out, you know, you go for it because you honor you. And you're stepping through the fear in a way. But remember, all fear is a mirage. It was a mirage. It was a projection of from the past onto her. What will she think? What will happen? She'll reject me. And then and then your heart, can't be expressed. I haven't given you guys an update on my kiddo and his goddess. Um he for those who don't know, I have an adopted son who kind of adopted me. Um and he is a hobbit who fell for a fairy who was very much in touch with her feminine energy and very flirty. And he had this like opening um, to sensual and sexual energy that was just an incredible thing. And he was just having all this energy move through his system and even just thinking about her. And got to know her and, you know, and asked her out. I mean, I did a lot of coaching him on how to approach her, and it was all beautiful. Um, she ended up she ended up n she ended up saying no, not to friendship. They're both gonna be in Spain together, and may be friends, but I think it was a little much for her because he shared what happened and how her just being her was this catalyst for him to be himself. Um, and we worked on finding the right words to express this and not be a mask, right? Not be a way to like position himself to be cooler so that maybe she'll get, she'd be willing to go on a date with him or whatever. She went on a date with him. But um but in the end, what really healed him and what also healed her, like she's she's since said, like, "It was so amazing to hear that, but I'm a little overwhelmed," um, was him just sharing how he felt about her and him sharing what she did, just her beingness did for him. And he found the words that were just plain, that were just real, and there's no facade, and he didn't get the girl, but what he got was freedom. Freedom to just be and a real increased, like, courage inside of himself to just be, and he also got, um, this ongoing connection to her and to, I would just say, goddess energy in general, and to the feminine, and, um and he's just more tapped in. So he's just in touch with this beautiful energy all the time now. Um, so but that took just being willing to be rejected, so to speak, being willing to be the fool for love, being willing to be all these things. And then he realized like there was no reality to that anyway. And she was flattered and beautiful. She responded beautifully. And it was like he realized also it wasn't about him. It was like she also has all these other things going on. So anyway, point being, the meeting the fear, being willing to walk through it, not engage with it, and do what's true in your body is going to bring rewards, so to speak. It's going to bring all good things. Um, and he also realized he's like, oh, I got all this opening to goddess energy, to the feminine, to like what happens to me as a man around an open woman. Like I am so like I can't wait to give to a woman, and I can't wait to, give her everything she wants, But he's a hobbit and she's a fairy, and we knew he's like, yeah, he's like, I saw what was possible and I felt what was possible, and she's such a goddess and I love her so much. And oh my God, like what's gonna happen when it's another hobbit? And we were like, yeah. Like when it's your actual match, which isn't to say that he's like that like just having a lover and having somebody to just be with and who isn't your permanent partner isn't beautiful. But it just he ended up being her. But anyway, all this gift came through, and all this possibility came through in taking a risk that in the end isn't really a risk. The problem is in running our program, running our identity, being in avoidance, um, not honoring and standing in our truth in the body. But when we do stand in the truth, even if it doesn't go according to plan and you don't get the girl, or you don't like, it doesn't go well in the story, it goes well in reality. In reality it for him, it was just wins across the board. In the story, it looked like a girl rejecting a guy, but that's not actually what happened. I hope that helps. Hey, Mason. Um, Ryan Well says, so I feel like I pretend to be okay with people perhaps not liking me, but I know it affects how I experience my life and relationships. Um, okay. And perhaps clinging into certain habits to become a better version of myself. Yeah. I know it is a big story in my head, but I find it really hard to let it go. It is eye opener to listening to your words, Megan. I guess all I have to say is just dive into the fear and to experience what it brings to my life. Yep. Yep. That's a um, good summary. It's all in your head, right? It's like meeting the fear here and where we're just looking at it and seeing that it isn't real, seeing that it's this story about what's happening instead of what's happening. Um, as Paul Hederman says, there's just what's happening and what's not happening. There's only the two. And so all fear is in the land of what's not happening. And sensation in the body is in the land of what's happening. And here in what's happening, we can actually heal and we can show up. We can show up. We can't actually show up to the land of what's not happening. It's like we just have to see through it. So yeah, so you when you're either meeting fear and just sitting safely in your chair and looking at your own thoughts and seeing through them, and or meeting it in reality and like, you know, saying hi to the girl, saying hi to the woman. Um, that 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 you're you've had enough of keeping yourself imprisoned by your fear. Right? We just reach it and we're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's miserable. So it's like, there we go. Now time to take the risk. You know, and it's always time to take the risk. And again, it isn't really a risk. But yes, step into it. Do it. You know. Um, yeah, my son was just like, I would get we talked daily for a while here, and it was like a text of like, here, I want to say this or this happened, or can I have a quick call? And we're walking through it, right? And all I'm doing is going, okay, but what's true? What's true? All right, then how would you articulate that? Right? Look, see that this is a whole story of rejection and a whole story about I'll never get a woman and I'll never, story, 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 story. Here we are back in reality. And back in reality, it was like his whole system was opened up. He was like blissed out. And I was like, so the whole thing you were going to go pursue with her anyway, aren't you? Isn't it happening now? It's like, yeah. Aren't you basically having like your orgasmic experiences with her energy, even though she's, miles away? Yes. Yes. Um, and so, um, what is it to completely meet your body and what you truly want and honor you? Fear just doesn't have any. So what kept happening with him is that he would just do the thing and do the thing, and then he would report back and he'd be like, "That was really great." Like when he went to the party and he was like, "I was scared to go to the party. I don't think I'm social." His story about himself, story that he's antisocial or that he's. And he gets there and he's like, "Oh, everybody was really nice, and she was really beautiful, and I felt her energy. Great. Well, I can't. I'm not good at this and da, da, da." And then he does it, and then each time he meets reality, um, he's he's and we all are more stabilized in reality, stabilized and living in what's happening and not in the land of what's not happening. And then the fears become irrelevant, right? Because by the end of this, so now he's moving to Spain, right? He's in the middle of the move, and he's like, "Oh my god, now I can't wait to meet women in Spain." Like he's like, "I like what's to be afraid of? They'll either want to be with me or not. But either way, I get to be with them, meaning like I get a chance to connect with them and be in their energy and tell them how beautiful they are." And it's like, yeah, that feels good in and of itself. So yeah, keep meeting those fears, keep seeing through them, and then stepping through this portal of freedom in your life. Hope that helps. For all who are here yet still struggling with their fears, we can interact in safe ways within the online Live Well Health and Wellbeing Cooperative. Oh, great. See my IG profile for other ways the Global Green Biz Woman, the well-being oriented mutual aid network. Amazing. Ooh, let's connect. Our common core is we are the founders of the emerging online Live Well Cooperative. Options for optimal human and cellular function at the individual and collective level. That's amazing. Oh my goodness, Helen. Well, let's connect because we're creating this people's trust, and this is it. So great. Go where Helen shared, and then also in my chat, and then soon in the People's Trust, where we're just gonna, it's like my vision is like, all the educators I've had on here, it'll be like Chaos is teaching on TikTok on Tuesdays at 4. The collective healing such and such is on Wednesdays on Instagram or whatever. We just start to basically create a TV guide of, all the things going on and all the people to connect with and all the healing together that we can do. So thank you, Helen. Randolph says, yes, Manuel, just dive right in. In my case, doing so, just a willingness to dive into my heart, which turns out to be pretty cool, even though the story said it was too scary. Yeah, exactly. Maybe come to men's group too. Sundays at 5. Randolph leads it. Um, Beautiful collection of men talking about this, right? Talking about your uh, unique challenges. You don't have to travel this path alone. However, each of us have to do our own nursing care plan based on our self-care knowledge skills to evolve as our best self. You will become a better nurse too. True that. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Randolph. You are so inspiring. Thanks, Helen. Um, he is, and Manuel, you are too. Thank you for bringing all this stuff up. It's great. And yeah, it's all like I've never heard anybody. I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. We're all healing the same stuff and afraid of the same stuff, and um, been conditioned in the same craziness, and we're just deprogramming, decolonizing, liberating, honoring, loving ourselves as we are, and it's so cool that we do it. We can do it for ourselves, like we can heal ourselves, and that we have all this other support and other people to reflect it back to us. So yeah, check out those other one-on-one sessions and men's group and Helen's group. Just great. We'll have so many healing communities, and everybody here is amazing. If say hi in the chat, it's a good way to do it, or just DM each other, obviously. Cool. Okay. And where about Randolph Group? Okay, let's see if we can match the timing. Yeah, and um, they talked about having an additional time, so not just Sundays, so that international folks and other time zones can make it. So, and if anybody wants to start another group, sounds like Helen's got some groups, but very welcome to say so in my chat or um, wherever. I'm happy to create another chat to get groups going, whatever you all want. And again, the People's Trust, when it comes, it'll just be an intuitive place to go because it won't be under my name. It'll just be ours. That'll be our gathering spot. So, and then I'll put in the People's Trust, we'll have group affiliates or group partners, and your group, Helen, would be linked there so that we have all these nodes in the web of people in a gift economy, in a moneyless exchange, in this directory of people we trust under the People's Trust, right? People who are down for a free world, down for one of us, one big village with unique local villages, um, chosen by our own soul, a soulful world. And we're getting there. We're getting there. So, um, well, we're about out of time. Uh, as a recap, I'll put my resources that I mentioned today, all these amazing people in the notes for this. And we've got Doc Smith, Gene Palace tomorrow. Incredible spinal health stuff, very simple and helpful. We've got Candace DeMeza, who's on Substack, and she's got a website as well, and on TikTok. She'll be here to talk decolonizing and liberating ourselves on Thursday. Next week, Monday, we've got Netta Faye here on Substack coming on Monday to talk living true self life, and hopefully some other folks that I'm continuing to reach out to. Thank you, Manuel. It feels really safe and comfy being surrounded people like you. Oh, isn't it? It feels safe and comfy to be around people like you. It is very safe and comfy here. I feel the same. It's got a cozy vibe. Um, that's what hobbits do. We're good. We're good for cozy. We're gonna bring the cozy to the party. All right. What a pleasure, y'all. I will see you tomorrow. It's 4 p.m. Doc and I'll see you 4 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Much love, and we'll see you soon. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, let's see. Helen says, "In Clubhouse are rooms where we can interact. Norman and Abby have an excellent gratitude Clubhouse. I have the Global Greenhouse Biz." Okay. The app is free. Okay, great. Great, great, great. I'd love, Helen, on this recording for you to either DM me or just put in the comments this info because it disappears from the live stream. Or Randolph, maybe you can take it down. Okay. Thanks, Abby. Thank you. Okay. Cool, cool. Um, thanks again, Helen. All right. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.